Were you followed? Good. These are the Grayson files. Tell no one. So, it's I guess it's not Christmas Eve anymore, it's now Christmas. It's been Christmas for about an hour where I am. It's been an interesting Christmas Eve because nothing's happened. It barely is Christmas. But wow, it's been an eventful day, to be honest. I mean, a lot of stuff happened today. It was a really crazy day. It was a really crazy day. But I wanna start by wishing everyone happy holidays and Merry Christmas to those who celebrate it. And actually, I would like to start off by talking about the people that were on Twitter today. Today, there was a crazy hashtag going on called shutdown hashtag shutdown stories, and I have a couple few Christmas beers with me, and I'm gonna drink these to those people, to the ones who were tweeting out using that hashtag. So here's to you. Um, wow. I guess we could start off there, but I mean, let's actually start at the beginning. Um, let's quickly recap the day because it was honestly kind of crazy. First of all, the entire Trump Christmas shutdown thing carried over into well into today. I mean, that did not die down. In fact, another hashtag spawned in the light of the last one. So we started out the day by this op-ed published in the New York Times by Susan Rice, this former ambassador of security. I think I don't remember what she does, but I mean, this woman is. I mean, we would be lucky to have her. She knows her stuff, and she defended this country when Obama was in office. I mean, from what I can tell, I think she had John Bolton's job, and we'll get to John Bolton later on in the show. But basically, this this article was published the 23rd, but for some reason I didn't see it until like the afternoon. So this article comes out, and then Steve Mnuchin calls the CEOs of every major bank in America, and tells them not to worry. The stock markets crash or fall, they sink. The worst since the Depression on Christmas Eve. And then this crazy hashtag that I was talking about goes live on Twitter, and people started using it. I don't know. It was a crazy day. It was a Christmas. It was a crazy Christmas. I'm gonna take another drink of my beer. I probably used the wrong scene there. Who cares? Still new at this. Um, so yeah, we started out the day by with this op-ed by Susan Rice. Um, and I think it's called Turmoil in Trump Land or something. Who knows? But I mean, what can you really say about these things? You know, no one really needs to hear from Susan Rice. She doesn't need to. She doesn't need to say anything. But these people decide to just put it all out there and speak up, and they don't care. I mean, they don't care, and I don't know. I'm kind of glad that they don't. Let's go ahead and take a look at that article. Well, first, let's Google first and foremost, let's just try and Google Trump risky. All right, so here's basically here's him. It's kind of crazy that it was such an eventful day, and like this is what's at the very beginning. So here we have 10 Christmas Eve service. Trump tweeted something about poor me. Shutdown continues. And that's kind of crazy that there's nothing here about the stock market, because if anything, that was a bad move by the Trump administration. I mean, why would they even do that? Why would they even make that call or send that statement? Um, that's insane. Anyway, I mean, the first thing that I heard about was the article by Susan Rice. See, I'm pretty sure she had John Bolton's job. And I mean, basically, this article isn't really. It isn't really like what the Democrats are doing, like a full on, like, you know what I mean? It's just what this is. It's not even. It's just like addressing his like Trump's behavior, and like basically not even siding with Mattis, but just kind of like reminding people that he was supposed to be the person that like we were gonna trust, and that he's not perfect, but that, I mean, he was good enough. And she starts, stating all these facts about, the actual war on terrorists that we have declared. Um and I mean, a lot of the stuff she's absolutely right about. It's I'll get to that later. What else? And just like, and I didn't even know this. I mean, I did know, but I had forgotten because of all of Trump's shenanigans. I mean, basically, there's like the Middle East is no joke. It's a tangled mess, and by pulling out, basically Turkey, who's our ally, and like we can't really. I mean, we need them in NATO, so no one's gonna tell them anything. But and they're a great ally. That's the thing. They're a great ally. And their president is kind of a bastard. He won't really listen to anyone. But by pulling out, by pulling out, this basically opens up, what is it, Kurdistan or something like that? I don't remember how you say it. Basically open them up for like a, because I guess they're the sworn enemies of the Turks, and so now they're gonna get attacked, and like she's warning us that this is gonna have a profound effect on ISIS. Like, we severely slowed them down and like dwindled their numbers and what have you. And we didn't even have that many troops there, but they probably had the same amount of fighters, is what she's saying. Um, let's read a little bit. Let's see. So here she's talking about, nothing illustrates this dangerous dysfunction more starkly than President Trump's reckless unilateral decision to announce the sudden withdrawal of all 2,000 United States troops from Syria, and to remove 7,000 from Afghanistan. There's something no one's talking about. These decisions went against the advice of the president's top advisors. And here she's talking about Hezbollah. There's a name I hadn't heard in a while. And again, we haven't heard all this stuff in a while because, look, what Obama left for us lasted us at least 2 years. And you know what? Like, no one really gives him credit, but Obama did a lot, even though he was obstructed like crazy. And I am surprised by the amount he got done. I mean, he must have just like found the Republican sweet spot and like appealed to it, and or sweet tooth and appealed to it, and just got stuff done somehow. The Pentagon estimates that 2,000 to 2,500 fighters continue to control territory in southeastern Syria, while tens of thousands more remain throughout Syria and Iraq. So I mean, think about it this way. We had 2,000 in there. France probably had 2,000. Other people had like 2,000, whatever. And it wasn't even a war that we were waging. It's just like, just by being there, we were doing something. And like, you never really heard about like crazy like Syrian conflicts, because mostly it's the Syrian government against the rebels against ISIS, I think, and also the Syrian government against ISIS, but not really. I mean, that's what I'm thinking is happening. I haven't really looked at the details because it's just after that chemical thing, I was just like traumatized. But look, just by being there, we were doing a lot. It was it was a countermeasure, you could say, or I don't know. I'm not. I can't remember the word. I'm already a little buzzed. Um, Although many militants have melted back into the population, they can reemerge, as we saw after the American withdrawal from Iraq in 2011. So, I mean, if there's one person that knows all of it, it's this woman. She knows everything. Let's just say that. Cutting and running from Syria benefits only militants. Turkey, President Bashar al-Assad of Syria, Russia, and Iran. And look, this is a loaded sentence because let me show you just like how crazy complicated this was and what he's unleashed on. I mean, let's just wait and see what this does. I mean, and that's the problem. Waiting and seeing requires waiting and seeing and accepting the consequences. And I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen. Syria benefits only militants. Okay, cutting and running from Syria benefits only militants. So militants being Assad's I mean it could be cuz look, you're going to have the rebels and then you're going to have like I mean, look, nobody wants rebels. Like you're not supposed to have rebels. Like when you have rebels, that's because there's a problem on top of a problem. Turkey, because Turkey, I mean, man, Turkey is just like this crazy dog with rabies that wants to attack everyone. Like they have they're enemies with everyone, and they just want to wage war. And like they're just their president is he's so I can't think of the word, but he is not a calm person. President Bashar al-Assad, because I mean more attacks means that he'll keep everyone in check. All of his people, Russia, because you know what, Putin basically robbed that country blind, and they need to make money, and this is how he's gonna make the money. He's gonna fund the war. He's gonna sell everyone weapons, basically. And Iran, because I mean, Iran is like Iran is so crazy because like it's full of people that like are really trying to like uphold democracy and better values, but also, I mean, it's an Islamic state pretty much, and there's probably some like crazy ISIS leaders and all that, and it's just, you know what I mean, like this benefits them. So Kurdish partners are gonna start getting attacked by Turkey. We are walking away from British and French allies. And a coalition of 70 countries. Like, there's no accountability here. Like, Trump is not even taking responsibility for anything. Like, can you imagine dissing a coalition of 70 countries? that the Obama administration spent like forever to try and fight this ISIS. Like, it's like Trump bought a new house that like is this beautiful work of art, and he's just gonna go ahead and fire all the people that like keep it running as soon as he gets there. Like, you know what I mean? That's just, I don't know, that's ungrateful, and like it's so entitled. Anyway, I mean, this is just more talk of like what we were, how like about John Bolton. We'll get more to that, more on that later. Um, I mean, this is just it's a disaster, and like libertarians can say all they want that like, oh, we need to pull out of war, because that's what they do. I mean, and who can blame them? They want smaller government and they don't want conflict. I don't want conflict, but like, I mean, we were, our elections were compromised. Like, to be honest, Trump is probably not even the real president. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just any military decision he makes on his own should be scrutinized. So, so let's take a look at the what happened with the Dow. I mean that I mean that basically says all of it, doesn't it? This right here. I mean, take a look at that. um, here we have this is the entire year, so yeah. So here's the entire year, and I mean, Trump was already present here, and you know it rose, and you know it's it's the market, you know, it's what it does. But I mean, let's take a look at 5 years. I mean, look at that. There's all the proof you need. I mean, here we have, like, you know, there were some falls, of course, but it's just, you know, here's where Obama left off. And, you know, in theory, if Obama had 2 more years, maybe 4, this would have gone up regardless. Because there's nothing Trump can do in this year, and probably this year as well. No, this year. Yeah, this year and this year. There's nothing he can do in these 2 years, pretty much, to 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 cause rises. And so I mean, what we're seeing here really is the Trump crash, which is the hashtag that is being used. And I mean, let's take a look at what actually happened. Because honestly, I don't even know, like, exactly what happened. I just know that I don't know if he called everyone or whatever. Um, oh, look, here it is. On Sunday evening, when Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin put out a press release on calls he held with executives from the country's largest banks, Mnuchin's statement assured the public that they had not been having liquidity problems or clearance or margin issues. The sort of things you would worry about if the country were on the brink of a financial disaster. And I mean, that's basically what happened. He put out a crazy press release telling all the banks all this crazy stuff. You just don't do that. You just don't like go and tell all the banks, oh, there's don't worry about anything. Don't worry about anything happening. I mean, if once you do that, they're gonna worry. And when someone like Steve Mnuchin does that, like the word's gonna get out, and you know, people are just gonna sell their stocks. Like that's just the thing. I mean, did he do it on purpose? I don't even know like what to make of it because it's just so odd. And so once he did that, the stock markets just went down the toilet, and like what were we looking at here? I mean, it's the biggest drop in Christmas Eve since the Depression. I mean, that's just that's alarming. I mean, granted the stock market's still good. And like, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean people are going to lose their jobs, but the thing is, like, people aren't going to lose their money. The thing is, this country is like, the way it's structured, it basically depends. It all depends on this market, and like, it's basically like the heartbeat of this country, pretty much. And I'm gonna take another sip of my beer. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know how like this guy can keep getting away with it. Like the spin this man is responsible for is just kind of insane. Like, how does he make it work? Because his support is still, they still support him. They don't care. Or maybe it's just bots. Who even knows? Wow, what the hell is that noise? I guess it was some crazy person or something. Maybe it was ISIS. Um, but I mean, let's take a look at take a look at Trump crash. And here we have all the activities, all the activity from Trump crash. So I mean, no one's gonna really tweet about this because this is kind of like a specific thing. Um. Oh wow, what was that? I mean, no one's really gonna tweet about it, but yeah, I mean, just think about it. Like, the person who ran on business sense and the economy and um not even the middle class, because he never said the middle class once. The person, I mean, feeding people hopes and dreams about like wealth is responsible for this. I mean, and then on top of this, he wants to like, he wants the R Fed to like to be more risky, Trump calls Fed only problem in US economy market slump. I mean, let's look at let's go ahead and look at the Wikipedia for the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve System, also known as the Federal Reserve or simply the Fed, is the central banking system of the United States of America. It was created on December 23rd, 1913, with the enactment of the Federal Reserve Act after a series of financial panics, particularly the Panic of 1907, led to the desire for central control of the monetary system in order to alleviate financial crisis. So, when it all goes wrong, these guys have a little bit of money saved up, is basically what this is. Over the years, events such as the Great Depression in the 1930s and the Great Recession during the 2000s have led to the expansion of the roles and responsibilities of the Federal Reserve. Now, let's just go back a few sentences. The actual job of this thing, this system, is to what? In case of an emergency, to save up a little bit of money. I mean, that's not anybody's money to spend then. That's not something you're supposed to touch or mess with. And I mean, what exactly does Trump want to do? What? He wants the Fed to like invest or something. That's not responsible, for starters. And that's not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to like make sure we don't go broke. I mean, the US Congress established 3 key objectives for monetary policy in the Federal Reserve Act. Remember, everything in this country goes through Congress. You don't just up and start anything. Every single thing is voted on by people that are elected by American citizens. That's how things work in this country. Maximizing employment, stabilizing prices, and moderating long-term interest rates. So basically, this system was put in place to protect us. It's not meant to make any money. It's not meant to predict the next hot thing on the stock market. It's not supposed to buy me a Ferrari. This is what we get. This is all we get to fall back on. And I mean, Trump wants to go and play with it like it was some kind of toy. That is just that's bad. That's bad. I mean, I hope there are people in this organization or system, whatever, that just I mean, here we have Republican, Democrat, Republican. I don't really know any of these names, but I mean, I just hope these people have common sense and Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is alarming. I think out of everything that happened, this is like the most. This just shows us how completely clueless Trump is. Not only about A, protecting his image, B, how the government works, but C, how bad this shows us how exactly how bad with money he is, and like how badly people messed up by electing him. All right, I am going to crack open this last beer. I was gonna get like three of them, but there's not enough time. I've been rushing them pretty much. Dropped on the floor just for effect. Let's take a little sip. Here's to Christmas in the deep red states. I hope those people find their way. And God help those people, and God help the government workers that Trump is screwing over. Now, I just want to take a look at one more thing. I'm gonna go ahead and go to this tab, and I want to take a look at Jim Shudo's Twitter account. Now, Jim Shudo is him and Jake Tapper. I mean, I trust these guys. I would trust them with my life if we were in some sort of situation, some crazy situation. But here's what this man reported today. New in weeks before the Syria decision, National Security Advisor John Bolton instructed senior officials to meet directly with coalition partners and assure them the U.S. is staying in Syria until Iran is out of Syria. Two sources tell CNN. Syria withdrawal was a complete reversal, done without deliberation and no consideration of risks. Allies and partners are shocked and totally bewildered. Syrian Democratic Forces don't believe this is happening, a senior administration official familiar tells me. Decision comes at critical time in fight against ISIS with US military and partners in a Tora Bora situation. We'll have to look that up later. In North Syria with ISIS cornered, US has reason to believe ISIS leader al-Baghdadi and senior commanders could be trapped in a little pocket based in part on vigorous defense. Oh my god. Let's take another sip of beer to Jim Shudo. In a little pocket based in part on vigorous defense. Wow, that sounds appealing. Contradicting President Trump, the senior admin official warns Russia loves this, referring to the US withdrawal, and continues to send a message to partners that if Americans are your friends, they'll abandon you. More broadly, this official says the national security decision-making process in the administration has basically stopped working, with decisions made on a whim on phone calls. Let's go back to that article. Now then, Here's the part about John Bolton. I'm going to read the entire thing. First, it appears that the National Security Advisor John Bolton rarely convenes his cabinet colleagues, known as the Principals Committee, to review the toughest issues. Instead, key players are cut out, as reportedly the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff was from the final fateful meeting on Syria. John Bolton is not named a replacement Deputy National Security Advisor, leaving vacant a crucial position whose holder typically coordinates the national security agencies in drafting and carrying out policy. Mr. Bolton has also taken over direct responsibility for managing everything from cyber and terrorist attacks to hurricanes and pandemics. Let me read that again. Mr. Bolton has also taken over direct responsibility for managing everything from cyber and terrorist attacks to hurricanes and pandemics. Tasks previously assigned to another top-level White House official. Mr. Bolton is also traveling abroad more than most of his predecessors, even as he is playing multiple all-consuming roles. These ill-advised choices alone would cripple national security decision-making. But a second factor himself, blah blah blah, I think this is that's it on John Bolton. Let me read that part again, just so people are perfectly clear on what we're dealing with. I'm gonna go ahead and take another drink of my beer before I do this. Mr. Bolton has also taken over direct responsibility for managing everything from cyber and terrorist attacks to hurricanes and pandemics. Tasks previously assigned to another top-level White House official.